All right, there's a lot going on in the world, and I want to acknowledge that. But it's week 10 of What Did Prince Do This Week? Sheila Lee, how are you this day?
Good morning. I am, like my granddaddy said, I'm vertical. As long as I'm vertical, I'm good. It's when I get horizontal is when I worry about it. How about you?
I'm okay. I'm a little sick, but we're gonna have a party anyway. So my voice is probably gonna give out at some moments, but I am here. I'm extremely excited for today's episode because if you know your Prince, it is a very iconic week. And if you don't know your Prince, you are in for a treat. This is actually one of the best weeks in Prince history. So I'm very excited about that. Michael Dean won't be joining us. So I don't know if Raywin is already here, but Michael's not going to be here. So I know you're disappointed, but it's just going to be me and C. Lee holding it down. We got Andre. Oh, what up, though? Thank you so much for listening to the When Does podcast. I love the name of that podcast. So I'm very grateful for the invitation to have an amazing conversation with Ed Miller, one of the co-hosts. Really appreciate that. And we got Boombox Guru. We got Cassandra Bradley all the way from the ATL. We have the birthday boy, Lee Smilik. I love this. It's one of my favorite Jim Morrison quotes. Is everybody in? Is everybody in? Then let the ceremony begin. And yes, Lee celebrated their 5-0. I think on Monday.
Welcome to the other side, man. Welcome to the other side.
Yes, welcome to the party, the 5-0 party. Welcome, Sister Charles. And let's see what LTKK. So YouTube is filtering my message. I keep trying to say something about Sheila E, but it thinks I'm trying to sell stuff. So Sheila E is getting rid of all of her old instruments and outfits. I didn't know about this.
Yeah, okay. Monica, I'm not online. Monica saw she had a warehouse open, had all the drums and everything. Said you get all the drums, all the clothes, all the everything. She having a fire sale.
Wow. Okay. Well, she that's maybe she's becoming a minimalist, something that I'll probably never be in my lifetime. And I have to really give a special shout out to Jamal for helping me try to up the likes for these episodes. So beautiful people who are using their phones and laptops, whatever you're using, please hit the like button. And Jamal is saying you must exit out of the live chat, hit the thumbs up, and then hit live chat, and you are back. 2 seconds only. Jamal, I so appreciate you. You have no idea. Thank you so much for that public service announcement.
Yeah, that's for the people on their phones. If you're on a laptop or a desktop, you can just hit the like where you are. But if you're on your phone, you got to exit out and get it. Like you said, it won't be but 2 seconds.
Won't be but 2 seconds. That's right. I love this for LTKK. Yes, hit the like as soon as you click on the video. It's the equivalent of wiping your feet at the door. Don't be rude. Love that. We got Nick Felder from Denver. We got Man Ray 10. Happy March, everybody. Yes, see, Man Ray knows what's going on. Man Ray is very excited for today's show because it will be covering one of my favorite Prince and the Revolution shows from First Avenue, March 3rd, 1986. Can't wait. Anna B saying, it is a cool, cozy, rainy day in my town. Let the rain come down. Love that. We got Christina from Minneapolis. We got Ron Kayla. We got Rockabosh. What's up, Rockabosh? You haven't been. Detroit says what up, though. That's what I love. I love thee. And we got Lisa Williams. And yes, it has been a week. Howdy from Houston. Thank you. I'm hoping this is a space for us to relax, relate, and release. If you watch A Different World, you should know what that's all about. And we got
all right, Whitney.
Yeah, that's right, Whitney. And we do have Raywin in the house. My Purple Family like it's 1999. We got Scott McLaughlin. Thank you so much for being here. We got Chris Bourne.
Go back and thank you, Scott, for all that good work you be doing online. Thank you for cutting it up and dropping it down. We appreciate you, brother.
All right, and we got Chris Bourne and in Ohio, and we got Lee Christian's wife. Grace. We should call Grace by Grace because Grace is a revered name in the Purple purple world. So you have a purple name, Grace.
And Grace, just so you know, I'm gonna call Brother Lee the better half, because whenever I'm out in public, I get tired of people asking me, how's the better half? So damn it, I'm all right. I'm good. I'm right here. So Brother Lee and all the men's, we the better half. Because when we be out, somebody be asking, how the better half? All right, let's move on.
All right. We got Karan sending lots of hugs. We got, let's see. Yes, I love this. So 10 and 11 are my faves. Yes, 11 is also fire. So let's see. Is it snow in Denver? Oh my God, the snow in Denver finally. And we got D68A. Thank you so much for all of your amazing uploads, which I have included today in the company playlist because we have an iconic First Avenue, the Last Revolution show with Prince and the Revolution. Obviously the Revolution would also perform at First Avenue post Prince, but the last one with Prince. It's a very iconic performance. It's an amazing performance. We're going to get into it. We're not going to jump the gun. I don't see our timekeeper, so maybe we can just go crazy.
I see you.
Oh, the timekeeper's here. Oh, I didn't get that.
She got her clock in the check.
All right, I was about to get happy. All right, we got TV. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And we got Duke Swan, we got Tanja all through the night. And then Raywan is saying it's on Instagram. Thank you so much. And yes, God bless Alabama. That's what I'm talking about. And please tell me what happened to the girl from Graffiti Bridge. Are you talking about Aurora or are you talking about another girl? And then we have, let's see, I got Leah Talkbox for his birthday. And we spent last night trying to sound like Roger Trout.
Oh, more bounce. To the ounce. Oh, that's more bounce, more bounce. Go ahead, Brother Lee.
Thank you, Dr. Claw, for clicking thumbs up. And thank you, Arlene. I really appreciate this being your weekly oasis. We so need them. And Rockabash is saying it's the 10th anniversary of Prince's classic stroll at Oracle Arena, taking in the Royals game, Forever Purple Cool. That's right. And we have JMFD 7048 from North Carolina. Love my Southerners.
We see you.
Yes. And the Prince poster capital of the world. And then we got Anna B. We're blessed to have a doc and a reverend. Oh, look at that. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. And yes, our timekeeper is here. I'm going really slow. I got to catch up. So sorry. And then we got Annie Ward from the south of France. We got Mooches from Philly. Always love singing in Vanity. And we got El Michelle enjoying the safe space in this purple community. Thank you for that. Yes, Grace. And we got Barbara Washington. Welcome. And let's see. Did anyone see the new record collector issue? It's a Prince Bowie special and has a lot awful AI pictures of them. Oh no, I don't want to see that. Okay, so no, I have not seen that, Lee, and I'm not going to seek that out. That's not cool. Let's see. Prince looks more like Eddie Murphy's son in the Coming to America sequel. Oh my God. All right, and Lee is confirming that Grace is definitely the better half. And let's see, Anna B, a copy of a Prince comic book specifically referenced in context with a Prince comic book cover painting sold for $989 recently. Wow, that's nice. I'm sorry, Kim. I didn't know you were here, or I would have been on better behavior. Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's like when you think the teacher gonna be late for class, you can leave, and then as you walking out the door, the teacher walk through the door.
Yes. And we got JD Washington, we got Purple Cat Confetti. Oh, Ingrid. Yeah, Ingrid is still doing their thing. You know, they're still releasing music, they're still performing. As far as I know, Ingrid is doing really, really well. Okay, we got a lot to cover today, and our timekeeper is already timekeeping. So let's get into week 10 of What Did Prince Do This Week? This is a weekly online book club as well as a Saturday salon. Google Harlem Renaissance if you don't know what we're talking about. And we're going week to week, not date to date. Some people, Lee, still don't understand, but maybe one day they will. So we're going Sunday to Saturday each week. And because of leap year, the dates do not align. So in 1986, today is March 8th, but in 2026, it is March 7th. All right. And this is what we're going to be reading this week. So if you want to get your books ready to that point, it's going to be Sunday, March 1st. And we're going to be reading through Saturday, March 8th. We got a lot to cover today. You do not need the paperback version, but that's what Sheila E and I have. It's the one with the circle because it is the most updated one. But there are some errors I spotted today, and we're going to talk about them. And I am going to get them to Duane in case there's ever another edition. And that's the reason why Prince Vault is important, because they are online and you can make changes quicker to online resources than printed books. But we still love our printed books because they are amazing. And as Jamal has told us, make sure you hit that like button and you subscribe so you can get the notifications, as these will be archived on @Salad as well as @MDean. This is our hashtag and this is our Gmail. If you want to get in touch with us, WDPDTW for Why Do People Dance This Weird? Oh, yeah, they can't see it. I've been doing it all this time. So this is our hashtag in our Gmail. And then this is our disclaimer. The estate of Prince Rogers Nelson is not affiliated, associated, or connected with the What Did Prince Do This Week book club series. This is an independent endeavor. And our community guidelines, which is really important, are we choose to be a community even when we disagree. And we definitely don't want to call anybody out. We are here as a safe space. So please remember that. We started off the top of the hour with 10. And I see we got Mila, my heart. Thank you so much for being here. We got Carol Brooks here. I didn't do my reading, but I have the book now. Let's go. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. And Raymond is jumping all the way to the end of the month. Don't get too fit. Let's slow down a little bit. But yes, March 31st is the anniversary of Prince's Parade album, the soundtrack of Under Cherry Moon. The months be going by too fast. So we just got in March. So let's stay like in the single digits for right now. All right. And I wanted to show this from Prince Vault. We love Prince Vault. Shout out to Prince Vault. Because remember on Madhouse 8, all of the songs were performed by Prince and Eric Leeds. But 16 is where there are other collaborators. And speaking of Sheila E, Sheila is playing drums on 10 and Levi Cecil Jr. is on bass, in addition to Eric Leeds and Prince. Welcome, Blake Brown. And that reminds me, I need to turn on the comments. All right. So this is episode 162 of What Did Prince Do This Week, week 10 of 1986. This week, there's 1 live concert and 3 live appearances. So this is an amazing week. Why is it an amazing week? Well, we've already talked about the First Avenue concert on Monday, but Prince actually performs with Sheila E on Sheila E's tour, 3 nights in California, 2 in Universal City and 1 in San Francisco. And the San Francisco date is the one that they include in the Romance 1600 live video, which is one of my favorite performances Prince has ever done. It's probably in my top 5 of just recorded, professionally shot performances by Prince. I can watch it like, I don't know, 100 times in a row, like Sheila did 60 days of 60 times the Sign of Times live. I can watch that. Like, because one of the reasons why I love it so, Sheila, is because he's so darn happy. You know, he's just like, he's so happy. And I don't know, it's just sometimes like, seeing Prince live is always magical, but it's something about this particular performance with Sheila, which I think is incredible. So we're going to get into that. And also on Tuesday, this week is kind of overshadowed that this is the release of Mazarati's self-titled debut on Tuesday. And there's I might have mixed these up. I think I mixed them up. I think this is a 12-inch I should have said 12-inch on this, and the 7-inch was released in February. I think I got that mixed up, so I have to change that. But the reason why I just show this is because I think the single, if I remember correctly, was released on February 8th, and then the 12-inch was released several weeks later. And I never remembered that until we've been doing this, that there was a delay between the single and the 12-inch. And I really didn't pay attention to the single unless I couldn't get the B-side on the 12-inch just to save money because I didn't have any money.
Right.
Yes. And then so we are going to get into basically Sunday, March 2nd. And Celie, do you mind getting us started?
I do not. I got to get more.
And that's going to be page 319.
Yep.
319.
Yeah. I know, right? When you said that, I heard the song, right? Sunday, March 1st, 1986. Can I Play With You? Overdubs, edits, and mix. For Love, listed as For Love, mix edits. Living Doll, mix edits. Jill Jones album compiled. Sunset Sound, Studio 3, 12 noon to 1 a.m. Booked, locked out. Producer Prince, artist Jill Jones, Prince crossed out. Engineer Coach Johnson. You want the Alan Lee's quote?
Yes.
This is Alan Lee's quote. I remember Prince's reaction when he got the tape of Can I Play With You back. He wasn't enthralled with it. That wasn't a reflection of Miles' playing, but more about the composition and the significance of the quality of the track in itself. Miles Davis recorded his trumpet on Prince's Can I Play With You and returned it for input, but Prince seemed underwhelmed, not by Davis's performance, but second guessing the original track and about its inclusion on Davis's next album, Tutu. Quote, Prince came to me and Matt Bliss and asked our opinion of it, and Eric Leeds says, Eric Leeds, quote, if Prince was going to ask me that, it meant he wasn't 100% sure it was great. I said, if you're going to do something with Miles, this shouldn't be it. And he agreed, end quote. Let me turn my page. Give me a second. There we go. All righty. This is Eric still talking. Prince wasn't really influential to us during the Warner Brothers period. Miles really dug what he was doing at the time. No, Prince was really influential to us during the Warner Brothers period. Miles really dug what he was doing at that time. So they handed Can I Play With You to me and had me mix it to work into the Tutu album, explained Davis's producer, Marcus Miller. Marcus Miller, the great bass player, by the way. I want to say.
Also one of Ricky's favorites.
Yes, and I can listen to Marcus Miller talk about music all day. And also, he was really instrumental in that first Luther album. So yeah, check out Marcus Miller if you don't know who that is. Thank you for mentioning that, because yes, Ricky loved Marcus Miller.
Yep.
Quote, Prince was singing, killing it too, but there wasn't an actual part for Miles. I tried to open up some space for it for Miles, and we recorded his horn in February 1986. Prince heard it again, what we did, and he realized that it doesn't sound as if it belonged on Tutu, and maybe we shouldn't use it. In the quote, oh, I'm all over myself.
It's okay.
Prince's insecurity about Can I Play With You revealed a vulnerability that he rarely displayed. Quote, it was the first time I saw Prince swallow the criticism and just go in and see what he could do, end quote, recognizing Susanna Melvin. Prince updated Can I Play With You during this session, adding overdubs with new lyrics and a variety of other elements, but despite the effort, Prince decided against allowing the song to be released by Davis.
Okay, let's hold on a second. So, I mean, what I've always heard is basically what Marcus said, that Prince felt like it didn't belong on Tutu.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way that this sounds to me, and I'm interested to know your interpretation, the way that Duane has written it, it sounds like Prince didn't think the song was good enough for Miles, and that is possible. But at the same time, I've always heard the narrative that it just didn't fit on Tutu. Because if you know what Tutu sounds like, this sounds nothing like Tutu. Right. So it makes sense to me personally.
Right. And I'm glad to have the Marcus Miller point of view that they really tried to open it up. And it seems like the way it was written, it's interesting, like thinking about it. Prince was used to writing for horns to accentuate what he was doing.
Yeah.
And so Tutu, I mean, can I play with you when you think about it? Again, and I'm guessing what we're hearing is what Mark has opened up. That's what I've always figured, right? Knowing that, and so that you're also thinking about the fact that it didn't fit probably initially because it wasn't something that was centering Miles as much as Prince writing for horns, supplementing what he was doing, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, but well, actually, okay, let me go back. I was about to say, so he had already done the Flesh sessions, right?
Right.
So why didn't he give like Miles an instrumental?
That's a good question.
Because it's, I can't remember when he started like the Madhouse stuff. I need to look that up.
Let me ask you this, because I'm trying to remember. Is Tutu all instrumentals?
I think it is. I haven't been in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And so
I think so. Yeah. Does anyone regularly listen to
Tutu? It's been a minute, right?
Yeah. And Leah's saying Tutu is more like Madhouse.
Okay. So yeah, so I don't know if the initial conversations was that they were supposed to be doing something as a joint project, I guess, and Prince took that as something with vocals on it.
Yeah, possibly, but
But so but I'm with you that I'm like you. I had always heard that it just didn't fit.
Yeah.
And so now what we have is, and I think a little bit, as I'm always saying, two things can be true, right? Mm-hmm. That it didn't fit, and I'm sure that Prince wanted to make sure he gave Miles his best.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you this. I'm glad you brought that up because for me, and you're an artist, so and there are other artists in the chat. There's this notion that you got to have your own best self editor. And I'm wondering, Prof. Duff, and again, somebody like for me who tried, worked a project with Prince and we didn't get it completed. I don't know, Prof. Duff. If I would have just been so happy to have a project with Miles, I just would have had to put on there just because I would have been able to say I had a project with Miles versus Prince saying, no, I want my best. You see what I'm trying to say? That would I have fallen into the trap of this might not be my best, but it's Miles, damn it, I want my name on something with Miles.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate and respect Prince even more for that, because even as I heard that it didn't fit, my thought was always, listen, I don't give a damn if it don't fit. It's Miles. I want to say I'm on Miles. So that's a level of artistic integrity, Prof. Duff, that I got to admit, I might not have. So I think both things can be true. I think that Prince wanted to give him his best, and it didn't fit, if that makes sense.
I love this comment from Rockabosh. So, the jazz police are real. If you don't know.
Right. So, they are.
Yeah, there's a possibility Prince didn't want to deal with that. So thank you for your comment, Rockabosh.
Ask Patrice Rushen when she had her pop hit and had the jazz, because people don't know that Patrice Rushen was a stone cold jazz artist. And the jazz police came after her, and I'm now I'm gonna get my jazz card pulled, though I'm not a jazz hit. What's my man? We're in this love together.
I don't know.
We're in this love together. Come on, chat, help me out. God, who am I thinking of? Shoot. Anyway, he was a jazz artist, and when he had Al Jarreau, thank you, Blade Brown. When Al Jarreau had a pop hit, the jazz police came after him too. And oh, by the way, this is another rap, but just say this. Hey, I want everybody who loves Al Jarreau. He has a song. My favorite Al Jarreau song is a little known song called Could You Believe? If you like Al Jarreau or you want to be really introduced to what Al Jarreau could do, I want everybody to go out and listen to Could You Believe, Prof. Duff. It is the greatest combination of gospel and jazz I've ever heard in my life. And that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, but we'll get back to our reading. But I think two things can be true. And Prince had a lot more artistic integrity than I had because I'm getting that Miles Davis credit. That's all I'm gonna say.
One more thing I want to say though, for Prince to ask of all people Eric Leeds.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he knew what Eric would say. So he was just kind of like, I guess, double downing on not going through with it.
And let's not act like Eric wasn't relevant in that moment. I need pictures. I need video. Look, if there's gonna be a Prince moment, I need the movie. I need that moment to be in the movie, so Eric, in all his glory, can have his moment.
Oh my God! All right, we're switching to Jill now. With work was wrapped.
Okay. Work was wrapped. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You want me to finish? Go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
All right, work was wrapped on this phase of Jill Jones's album with a few final edits on Living Doll and For Love, and a quick mix before creating her latest compilation. 5 C60 and 2 C90 cassettes were dubbed, and the session wrapped at 1 a.m. It's unclear what songs were on the collection, but the album at this point was erratic and lacked focus. Quote, there was too much going on for him, discloses Wendy. I think he was scattered. I think there was just too much happening at once. And Lisa and I used to talk about it all the time. You're just putting too much out. You're releasing too much. Got too many bands. You've got your hands in too much. In the quote, because of his schedule, it was inevitable that Jill Jones' album was getting pushed aside. Prince was in the middle of editing Under the Cherry Moon. And after this shift, he flew home to continue rehearsing with the band, which was about to debut his new tour in 2 days. Status. Today's mix of Can I Play With You, 6 minutes and 34 seconds, remained unreleased during Prince's lifetime, but was included in the Prince Sign the Times Super Deluxe 2020 edition. There's a little bit more left. There's an awful lot, this is a quote, there's an awful lot of confusion about the collaborations with Prince and Miles Davis, but Can I Play With You is the only song which Prince ever gave to Miles to put trumpet on, other than the song Sticky Wicked, which was for Shaka Khan and would come out on her CK album in 1988. But this was the only song of Prince's other than the one that Miles, other than that one that Miles ever put his trumpet on. In the quote, okay, get a little bit more. Keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
All right. Miles would perform with Prince at Paisley Park in 1987, but unfortunately, further collaborations between Prince and Miles never materialized. Lord have mercy. Materialized.
Let's just make that a word. I love that.
There you go. All right, look at all my Southern foghorn leghorn. I said, boy, I said, listen to me when I'm talking to you, boy. All right. Eric Leeds explains. This is Eric talking y'all, quote. After all of this, in 1990 or 91, Miles was really adamant about wanting Prince to produce him, and Prince would not. And Prince came to me and said, Miles is bugging me to produce him. And I looked at Prince and I said, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? And Prince told me, Eric, I can't go in the studio and tell Miles what to do. And I said, why not? You do it with everyone else. It's not about you telling Miles what to do. He's looking for you to provide a musical environment where he's going to do what he does, but he wants something different. That's the whole point. As a composer, as a conceptualist, he wants you to get in the studio to provide him with an atmosphere that's going to be different. Prince would not do it. So what did Prince do? He asked me, I need you to do some tracks for Miles. And I said, Prince, Miles isn't asking me to do tracks for him. And he said, well, I want you to. So I went in and did 2 tracks for Miles. Miles had reportedly expressed interest in Prince's Nothing Compares to You. So an updated version and Eric Leeds' song Frame of Mind were tracked and mixed on January 22nd, 1991, but they were never released with Miles playing on them.
All right. So I think it was important for us to read that whole quote from Eric Leeds just to see how persistent Miles was at wanting Prince to produce him, which I think is really phenomenal. And at the same time, I know that, with certain musicians, like if you take Claire Fisher, so like Prince didn't want to jeopardize that musical partnership, by meeting him. So they never met. He didn't know what he looked like, supposedly. And I can see where perhaps he didn't want his relationship with Miles to be changed based on, like a producer musician relationship. So I think he probably did the right thing.
Yeah, so there are a lot of things here. I'm thinking about, as a writer, the people who influenced me. So I'm thinking about 2 or 3 people: Columbia Salon, Jerry Wood, Reginald Martin, people that people won't know, but people who I look up to. If they gave me their manuscript and said, "Sheila E, edit this for me," I wouldn't know what the hell to do, because they are like literary gods to me. What am I going to tell a literary god, right, what to do? So on that, I understand that point. And so, yeah, so I get it. And I think it's difficult sometimes. I think that we forget that our heroes have heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really important. I know I've said this before, and I know you probably will get sick of me bringing this up, but one of my favorite things on YouTube is to see James Brown being a fanboy over B.B. King and Bobby Blue Bland. Because you have to understand that in that moment, James Brown was the man. James Brown was, the Godfather soul. He was Mr. Dynamite. He was at the top of whatever you could be at that moment. And to see James Brown at the top of whatever he wanted to be, literally acting like a little kid. Because remember, James Brown walks off and they call him back, and Jay like, me? So I think a lot of times we forget our heroes have heroes. And so I'm glad to see this side of Prince, where Prince was just like, man, this is my house. I don't know. I wouldn't know what to do with my house. So I think that's cool. I'll shut up.
I really love this quote from LTKK, and I think it's actually really important, particularly for people who might be just getting into music. So LTKK said, that's why when I'm studying my favorites, I also make an effort to study their favorites.
Yep.
That's very important. It is extremely important, LTKK. I wish I could just stop the stream right now, but we can't because there's so much to cover. But this is a really important point. So thank you so much.
It is.
For sharing that. And then I love this comment from who saw Miles Davis at the Glam Slam in April of 91 and played 2 Prince instrumentals composed by Prince at that show. So that would have been extraordinary. And I love this question from, yes, there's a possibility that Bill Jones could have been. I mean, I'm glad that it didn't come out in 86 based on the last track listing that we
Boy, you really hate that, so you really hate Living Doll.
I hate Living Doll. I hate Living Doll, and I hate the version of Boom Boom that's floating around. Now, I know the Boom Boom version on this cut is probably different from the one that's floating around, but if it has any relation to the one that's floating around, no. And then Violet Blue doesn't exist by this point.
Right. Oh, there you go. You're right. You're right. And that's the jam.
Yeah. So, yes. Yeah. Yeah. So
I'm with you.
I think Winnie and Lisa basically said the right thing. I don't know how, as so one of the things that I love about Prince and P-Funk, for that matter, George Clinton, is how prolific they were. And if you're prolific, sometimes you have hits and sometimes you have misses.
Right.
Because I really think for Prince and other musicians like P-Funk is really about just putting out music, and not necessarily judging, whether that music is good or not. It's just like being in the flow and like, this is what I do. It's like flowing like a river, versus an artist like D'Angelo, where it was about perfection and, it take years, almost like, before, in between releases. Can you imagine what our life would have been like if Prince was like D'Angelo or Sade?
I couldn't have taken it. In fact, I always used to say that, and watch people take it out of context. I used to always feel bad for Michael Jackson fans because my dude was getting me an album every year. And Michael Jackson fans was waiting 2-3 years. And I used to always say, man, look, my spring was always, what I got was spring and new Prince music. I was always looking forward to spring and new Prince music and jamming that new Prince music all through the summer, coming back to school that fall. So yeah, I couldn't have taken it if Prince didn't put out as much music because my life just aligned. In fact, now when I look back on my memory, it's what Prince album was out. Like all of my memories, like I don't say 1987, I say Sign of the Times, right? You know, it's just kind of like that because that's kind of how it flowed. So yeah, I'm with you. I would not they got the Moonwalker, Captain EO, Shorts in the Big. I don't know. Okay, I mean, hey, you know, but brother, I needed that album. I needed that new Prince album every year. And you think about it, the only ones we didn't get an album in '83. And then how long? And then it was so much longer, and that we didn't get, because even after the Love Symbol album, you got Come and you got all these things that kind of flowed out, official and non-official albums. So we went, let's say decades of getting a Prince album every year. All right, I'll say.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's, you know, I think one of the reasons why, you know, Prince is so important to me is because he was so prolific, because he always gave me something to look forward to.
Right.
Always. You know, so because not only was, you know, a new album coming out, but then there were going to be all the 12 inches with all the B-sides and stuff like that. And then, you know, I thought he was going to be going on tour, you know, for, you know, like an official tour. Yes, I know he did some tour spot dates for Parade. No real tour for Sign of the Times. I was like devastated. And that's one of the reasons why it's such an important tour, because we had missed him in the States so much. I like
what Rockabye. That's I haven't thought about that. A high volume shooter. For those of you who don't know sports, so a high volume shooter product is a guy who I said, let me go and break it down for product. So that's a guy who he scores a lot of points, but he often gets criticized for taking a lot of shots to score all those points. So that's called like a high volume, as opposed to somebody who's a more effective scorer. They're not gonna take as many shots, but they'll still score a high number of points. So when you hear a guy that's a high volume, that's a dude who shoots a lot to make a lot of points. I like that analogy.
And what do you think about Chris's comment here? It's ironic that if Prince had put out less music, the albums he did release may have gotten more attention from the masses.
I like his last point. I'm personally glad he was more prolific. Do you remember so yeah, I'm glad he's more prolific. I remember the one thing, and I look back on it now, and I got what he's doing. The little documentaries, little 10-minute documentaries, and the one where Little Richard is in, and Little Richard says that he's so prolific, but he should give him a little bit at a time. Don't give it all to him. And I remember in real time watching that, thinking, like, I get what you're saying, Little Richard, but no. So that's one of the few times. So, but to his point, maybe they would have gotten more attention. But for my own personal, I'm glad that we got something every year.
Yeah, me 5 for sure. And then I love. I think this is really important. So I talk to my students about perfection all the time. I don't think perfection exists. So it's really interesting to hear. I haven't seen this clip, but Michael Jackson saying he wanted to perfect perfection. And I do think that that's an awful lot of pressure to put on yourself, because I don't think perfection exists. I don't know about you, Sheila.
No, I'm with you, but also to some degree, that's also coming from the Motown hit factor, right? You know, that's that. So and I think people forget, like, Mike comes out of you know, it was an assembly line, like Berry Gordy. I am really foghorn leg, cause I say, so Berry Gordy, right, ran Motown like an assembly line, and the whole goal was to pump out hits. And so Mike, even when he breaks away and gets his freedom, he is still rooted in that Motown thing, right? That boot camp. Now, I would say the reverse of that, though. Well, no, because he kind of got criticized. I was gonna say the reverse of that, because we think about when Stevie Wonder went on his run. So Stevie Wonder goes on his run, and you know, Stevie Wonder's run is called by a lot of people the greatest run in pop music. I don't disagree with that. I think that Stevie may have had the greatest run in pop music. And so you have Stevie, who's also looking at perfection, but tended to be a little bit more prolific, particularly at his height, than say others. So that's it.
Rockafast says that Betty Gordy was Barry's female twin.
There you go. Yeah, and thank you, Heavenly Gaze, for giving credit to Joe Jackson, because I'm all about Joe Jackson credit. I don't care what nobody say. I'm a Joe Jackson and John L. Nelson stan. And so thank you, Heavenly Games. Yes, I want to always speak Joe Jackson's name and John L.
Yeah, I mean, I respect your comment, love sexy, but for me, like, it's even striving for perfection is not, I don't know. I just find that at least my students, they put so much pressure on themselves that even if they're striving for perfection, they have paralysis analysis when it comes to creativity because they're striving for perfection. So I don't even think striving for perfection should be a pursuit, at least not for my students. I would say that in this day and age, maybe during the time of Motown, it was a little different, but it was something's in the water. Okay.
So I would say this. Let's put it this way. There's the ideal. What's good? What's up, good brother? So there is the ideal in our head. So each one of us, when we get ready to create, I'm using the Play-Doh, right? There's the ideal in our head. Mm. And so we are striving to whatever that ideal is, the ideal sound, the ideal graphic, the ideal poem, right? So we have this ideal, ideal, in our head. Mm. And I think that we are trying to match that ideal in our head. And so what gets into what I love you talk about the paralysis is, it's when we are not able to create the balance between what's in our head and what we actually make material. In fact, one of my favorite quotes, this is why the Miles Davis autobiography is always in my top 3 favorite books. The other 2 books were rotating, but because Miles said that hitting and missing is, if you get on record what's in your head, then you hit. If you don't get on record what's in your head, you miss. But here's the little point to that I like to add. And right after that statement, Miles said that he missed on Sketches of Spain.
What?
Yes, he said he missed. So if Sketches of Spain is a miss, is not the perfection for which Miles was striving, the lesson is, while we strive to achieve our ideal, Miles' Sketches of Spain lets us know that just the striving is enough, because often what we actually create is going to be meaningful, even though we may not get. In fact, if I ever got to meet Miles, I'd say, I don't even want to hear what the other damn sounds were in your head. Because Sketches of Spain is such a wonderful record that I'm scared of. And then I add to this, it's kind of like with Newton. Do y'all know that when Newton invented calculus, it was because he forgot a harder math that he invented a year earlier? I'm so damn glad he forgot.
I wish he would have never invented calculus, because that was a problem.
Well, look here. I almost failed senior math with that damn calculus. So whatever the hell that other math was, I'm glad he lost it. So that I think, to your paralysis point, that people have to understand that, yes, I think that's the balance. We're all trying to achieve whatever the ideal is in our head, and to be able to make peace with whatever it is that we eventually produce. That's it. I'll shut up.
What up, Ted?
What's happening, man? I'm sorry. What's up, y'all? Man, I'm sorry. I missed this. I'm sorry. First of all, I need to say something. I need to say something real quick. I don't know how I wound up doing it, but yesterday I live streamed for 8.5 hours straight.
What?
Yes, you did.
There was a lot to talk about. It was insane. If I could jump in on the on the tail end of this conversation, as I kind of understand it coming in on what's up, Love Sexy? It makes me think about recording. When I was recording my album, I did a version of Strawberry Letter 23, and I had access to this space, and I can't tell. There must be at least 100 different bass takes, and like I don't know, maybe number 2 was the one, you know what I mean? But then I'll like second guess myself, was like, well, maybe it was take 45, and then just like, nah, bro, you gotta let that go. Who said that? Because I'm Ted. I'm really Ted. What? How's it? Oh, look.
Yes. All right. So there was something I wanted to highlight. Where did it go? Okay. This comment from Chris Bournet is really, really important. And it's actually the reason why I'm making sure we cover this is a problem that I sometimes have. I have my own vault of stuff that I'm sitting on because I wanted to get perfect. And then time goes by, and then you know, there's still some stuff I want to do that I'm sitting on. So Chris says, if Duane was afraid to release the books we're reading out of fear of not getting every word in detail perfect, we wouldn't have this weekly meetup. This is such an important point, Chris. So thank you so much for sharing that. And yes, so perfection does not exist.
Or somebody else would have come out with something much less than what we have, right? You know what I'm saying? So the thought and care that has gone into these is quite obvious.
Yeah, it really is, and we are grateful for Duane. All right, so speaking of here, I'm such a hypocrite, but I'm going to do it anyway. So and I do this sometimes because Duane sometimes watches this. So I was really confused because it says Sunday, March 1st, and then it goes to Monday, March 3rd. So technically Sunday was March 2nd in 1986. So that just needs to be changed. So you might want to mark through it in your books. If you have physical books, that Sunday in 1986 was actually March 2nd. All right, Ted, since you're here, do you have your book? Ooh, yeah.
Teacher.
And do you have the paperback?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's it's on
Wait, hold on a second. What page we on?
321. And we're reading Monday, March 3rd.
Turn to your neighbor. Say, neighbor. Neighbor. Let them have a. Okay, I'll stop. Venue. Wait a minute. It's early morning and I want to put on my radio voice here.
Read the date.
WTED. Monday.
Go, Venus Flytrap.
Monday, March 3rd, 1986. Venue, First Avenue, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Capacity 1,600. 1,100. I can count. 1,414. See, I told you the calculus thing was a problem. Just like regular numbers are a problem. Tickets sold plus guest list sold out. Prince, being such a strong frontman, he could have a lot of strange characters surrounding him and still be the center of everything. Lisa Coleman. This performance would be his first full concert at First Avenue since before the Purple Rain tour, and expectations were high. It was a new expanded band and he was launching a new album soon. So there was a lot riding on this show. If it is surprising that they hadn't rehearsed more and that little planning was done for the show. He'd scheduled the performance earlier in the day by having his assistant, Karen Krattinger, reach out to book the venue for the evening. Even Prince mentioned his lack of prep from the stage at the start of the show when he explained, "We've only been rehearsing for about a week, so we are a little rusty."
Flip the next 2 paragraphs and go to the concert ended up.
The concert ended up being a mixture of brilliant, awkward, and beautiful, with the debut of 9 of the 12 album cuts an upcoming B-side, Alexa de Paris, a cover, Whole Lot of Shaking Going On, 5 numbers from around the world in a day, Raspberry Beret, Pop Life, America, Paisley Park, and the album's title track, as well as a few songs he'd written for others, Love Bazaar and Mutiny. Oh God, he killed those. Blended with a handful of older tracks. The most noticeable curiosity in the set list was the inclusion of Purple Rain, which was the only song performed from that movie's soundtrack. The lineup was a serious indication that Prince had moved on from the Purple Rain era and wanted to shine a bright spotlight on where he was now. The show was so loose that the band started Alexa de Paris prematurely, with Prince saying, "Chill, you forgot one." Then guiding the group to perform Raspberry Beret, followed by a proper Alexa de Paris. Prince used the show as a way of throwing shade at St. Paul Peterson. I love St. Paul for leaving the family the previous fall. During Mutiny, which was originally written as a slight at Morris Day for leaving the time, Prince added a line from Dream Factory and featured the St. Paul Punk of the Month chant that was edited from the song. I was there and he knew I was there, remembered Peterson.
He was there. Oh my God.
Oh man, that's wow, that's dog. I knew he was going to do some sort of public retaliation, so it didn't surprise me at all. So I had fun with it and had t-shirts made up. Yeah, Paul. I thought it was funny. Paul wasn't the only one to feel Prince's indignation. Multiple verbal shots were fired at Jimmy Jam, and during Head, Prince mocked Morris Day's Oak Tree by threatening to chop it down and make a wooden leg out of it, followed by a playfully snide performance of the wooden leg dance. Morris Day and Paul Peterson would continue to be targets of mockery during upcoming shows. Go on.
Yes.
What is ironic? Radio voice popping today, huh? I'm just playing. Come on now. Y'all know me. Jesus. What is ironic is that Prince was considered to be one of the most dynamic performers in musical history, but he also reportedly hid a fear of performing. Interesting. He has stage fright, explains his guitar technician, Michael Soltis. What's that?
We'll take it.
Let's go with it. That's why he likes so much light in his face. He doesn't want to see the crowd. And he's really great to be with in a small group of people that he knows well. He was always nervous before a show until he got on stage and the lights came up. Confirmed current band member Wally Safford. I want to say something about that when I'm done. He would drink hot tea to settle his stomach before every concert. Prince seemed to address this during the final encore of the night before Kiss. I just wanted to say something in all seriousness and in all honesty. Sometimes when you stand up here, you know, when I'm here and I get really jittery because of this motion to the crowd and it feels really nice. That's all I can say. See what it is. Love will make you shake. You know what I'm saying? In all forms of the word. He also hinted to the crowd about Paisley Park Studios, which was still under construction. Listen, I've just got a few things I got to do. And then when I do them, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to build a big clubhouse so we can all hang out like this every day. I'm going to do it or I'm going to die trying. Gee, love that guy.
That's probably my favorite moment from that show.
That is so amazing. The thing I want to comment on was, you know, I started playing with Levi in 2016, late 2016. And what was interesting, like, I really don't know the ins and outs of what happened between them. So I can't speak on that at all. But in rehearsals, Levi would just get like this 1,000-yard stare sometimes. And he would, and it was amazing because he would be talking about Prince like his friend. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we're all numb and shocked by what's happened. But make a long story short, he said that they were going on stage at Madison Square Garden, and he looked at Prince and he said, "Good luck." And he said, Prince looked up at him and he says, "I don't need luck. I practice." And I use that as a mantra for bands that I was teaching in school. So, and I mean, these could be, obviously different eras. So it's interesting to hear about him, such an accomplished performer, such a practiced, and I don't want to say perfectionist, but a guy that was on top of his game. Even when he wasn't on top of his game, he was more on top of his game than most of us will ever be. So, yeah, I just find that interesting.
Yeah, so there's a lot in this chapter. A couple of things is just I appreciate the 68A's comment about Paisley Park starting construction in January of '86, and for Prince to have realized his vision. And that's one of the reasons why I think it's important to go to Paisley Park, and if you are able to afford to, go to celebrations just to keep Paisley Park open. Because Prince, I've said this before, and I still believe that it was almost his albatross. I have no idea how much it cost to keep that building going. And then when he had all those employees, I'm sure he did shows. Sometimes he didn't want to do shows because it was a huge, huge, huge expense. So, oh, are you going in June? That'd be amazing, Theo. So that's one of the reasons why I think it's really important, because he actually created that building for us. I mean, he continually said that. So I think just remember that. I think that's really, really important. The other thing I want to say is that the last show that I saw before COVID shut everything down was St. Paul at the Iridium in New York. And he was selling in 2020, he was selling Punk of the Month buttons. And I bought one, but I lost it. And it was like a little Punk of the Month. So I love that he still, took that with a sense of humor. And I think it's really important for more people to take things out of with a sense of humor. But at the same time, someone had posted, yes, when I actually watched the show last night, and as soon as that started, I said, "Petty Prince."
Yeah.
And so, yeah, sometimes Prince could be really petty. That's one thing we know about him. But I love that St. Paul didn't take it personally. At least, he.
I don't know St. Paul very, very well at all. I wouldn't, but he seems like such a really genuinely classy guy. And he was one. He was one of the people who would shoot me words of encouragement when my mom was sick, and I knew she was nearing the end, and I know he lost his mom and some other music. He just seems like such a class act to me. Mad respect for him.
Yeah.
I think that, and I also think we can't lose sight of, particularly in the Minneapolis area, what a big deal the Peterson family was.
Yes.
So I think that Paul, coming from a family that had their own name, that had their own swag, that had their own history, I think it allowed him to take that in a different. So the combination of him being a sweet man, but also this is a man comes from a legacy family.
Yeah, he got his own thing.
Right. Like he wasn't going to crumble like crackers.
Yeah.
Just from a diss. Right. And so I also think that speaks to telling young people, whatever your field is, you need to get in that field already knowing who you are.
Yes.
Because I think that if you get into something knowing who you are, then you can take things like this with a grain of salt and not crumble and not have it impact your self-esteem in a certain way. That's
So, Andre, to answer your question, the reason why he made Paisley Park private is that he didn't have access to his own studios when he wanted to use them. So he
favorite story. That's one of my favorite stories. Prince leaves his house, drives up to Paisley Park because he has this great idea. Campbell Soup is making a commercial. Somebody else is preparing for a tour, and the other two studios are booked. And when Prince gets there, he has his idea. And he's like, well, get them out. And they're like, they have a contract. We can't put them out of. So Prince basically said, I want this. I can't remember the studio, but I want this studio to never be booked. And it went from that studio to never being booked to eventually he phased out. But it actually happened because he drove to Paisley Park, got there, and everything was booked. And that's one of those kind of what if things, to where I get you saying you want one studio never to be booked, but for it to go from one studio. So yeah, so the Prophet's point that he basically could not take having Paisley Park ready at his beck and call, which is really interesting. All right, that's it.
Yeah. All right. So this is the actual set list from this First Avenue, and it's actually in the book. And what page is it on? If you have the paperback, it's on page 318. But Duane and I have a mutual friend, Scott, who's been on this because he was also an extra in Purple Rain and all that. He went to all of the First Avenue shows. So we have Scott to thank for this actual set list. And there were 24 songs total. I don't include the cover, but you can see that he does one song from For You, one song from Prince, one song for Dirty Mind, one song for Controversy, one song for Purple Rain, one song from The Family, one song from Romance 1600, 5 from Around the World in a Day, and 11 from Parade. So this was like song after song after song. It's really an interesting sequence as well as I was watching it last night. But it is an amazing, amazing show. If you haven't seen it, it's in the accompanying playlist from D68A. And yes, Michael Dean did do a good interview with St. Paul. All of Michael Dean's interviews are incredible.
Yes.
Very much so. Oh, thank you, Kim. I didn't know we were spring forwarding tonight. So thank you for that public service announcement. I appreciate that. All right. So I have some photos. Give me 1 second. And I have a couple of reviews I want to read, but I want to show the photos first. So he starts off with the Benucci. Yes.
My Benucci or my Versace? I don't know, man. I kind of like that blue.
Hey, that coat right there is fire.
Yeah, it is. It really is. So if you don't know what we're talking about, that means that you need to watch Under the Cherry Moon so you'll know what Celie is referencing, and you'll be in on, what we know. All right.
Hey, I had my uncle buy me a white coat that looked like that. And in Mississippi, I've been able to wear that coat a total of 2 times since 1991.
You had the same problem. You tell them it's Chinese.
Right.
That's the same problem I had down here in New Orleans.
Right. You get your Prince gear and realize I can't wear this itch nowhere.
Right. If you had on long sleeves, people would be like, man, where you going?
Right. Ain't you hot?
Ain't you hot?
I love this comment from Chris Bournet, just the way with words, a coat of cream cashmere.
There we go.
Here's Wendy with the steel drum, and then you see Eric Leeds and Aladdin Bliss at the left. Love this shot from Daniel Corrigan, who was a local photographer who did a lot of photography of a lot of Prince shows at First Avenue. I just really, really love the color, the magenta. Always love Prince looking down. I don't know why. It really reminds me a little bit of the cover because he's looking down on the cover as well. And these are a couple of other shots. I don't think maybe I didn't pay attention to this black guitar. I was looking at it. I was like, yes, thank you. Fuchsia instead of magenta. Thank you so much. I only got the 12 box of Crayolas. I didn't get 64, 48 or whatever.
You got that Roy G. Biv pack.
Yes, exactly. That's the one.
Somebody's gonna be like, what the hell is a Roy G. Biv?
You're showing your age, bruh.
Yeah. Yes. I love this though. I love this answer. Carol says that color is his. That's right. It's Prince's color. I love this photo.
Okay, stop a second, because I'm assuming that picture is that when they're doing Paisley Park.
I don't know if this is when he's doing Paisley Park, but he's over by the organ.
Okay. Well, not that one, the one before when he was on the guitar. I was thinking that was the and for me, that was the moment seeing that bootleg when they were doing Paisley Park because it was a little bit slower. Mm-hmm. That was the first time I realized how much Paisley Park sounded like the song "Aweema Aweema Aweema in the jungle, the mighty jungle." I was like, "Oh, damn!" Oh, anyway, that's just all my tickling myself. Go ahead.
Yes. Oops. I love this. Eric color is Prince's color. That's right.
You know them light skinned dudes. You know they can wear anything. You know, I look. I don't look. I love my light skinned people. I love my light skinned people. But in the 80s, man, I was like, we chocolate brothers. We gonna be in.
Was that Pierre joke? Oh, I get it. Light skinned brothers ain't in no more.
Right.
Thank you, lady cab driver. The line sleeps tonight. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, sorry.
And then he went from the Benucci to what I call Wally's coat, which is my favorite coats of all time because he wears it a lot on the Cherry Moon, especially when he's going into Mary Sharon's mom's room. So this is the coat.
Was that really Wally's coat?
Yeah, it really was. He gave it to Prince, or Prince took it from him, one or the other.
We know Petty Prince. Hey, let me
yes.
And that's the coat where he goes, "Pizza man."
Yes. Exactly.
You order Pizza man?
Y'all gonna make me watch that movie today.
Yeah.
Wait, baby, I ain't in all that.
What'd you say?
Wait, baby, I ain't in all that.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God.
There you go, Smitty.
Butterscotch. Chocolate.
No way.
Hey. And I love the purple lace thing coming out. It's like it's more than just a scarf because it's so large. But this Paisley outfit is fire. Love it. And more detail of the coat because I never realized that it had like these red streaks, like you could see a red stripe going down in it. So I love this photo for that reason alone.
Yeah, I never saw that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
You can see it good.
Yeah. And love the shot. And I think this is the last one. Let's see. Oh, nope. Maybe this one is. Love this one. I think this is the last one. Okay. So, yeah, Tanja says he jacked Wally for his coat. Yes, it is the same coat from the Love Bazaar for sure. Yes. And yes, the metallic gray eyeshadow was gorgeous. Yes.
Hey, can you go back? Can you go back like two photos?
Sure. That one? Or...
Yeah. So my mama was coming home from like Popeyes. She had some Popeyes chicken she was eating on the way in. And you know, my mama used to hate when she come home and hear the music loud, you know, because I'm just disturbing the whole neighborhood. And I'm playing like Life Could Be So Nice. And I'm doing something like that. And the chicken, she dropped the chicken. And instead of being mad, because my mama was in her yelling era, you know what I mean? She was a yeller. And but she didn't. But boy, did she laugh. I get embarrassed, turn the stuff on. She said, "No, do that again. Do that again. Whatever that was, do that again." But it was
mama, baby.
It was very similar to this move right here.
That's incredible. All right, so I am going to read. We're getting to, you know, when we have live shows, we have to read some reviews. So there are a couple of reviews that I want to read, if you will bear with me. The first one is from our resident critic, John Bream of Star Tribune, and this was released on March 4th. So let me pull it up real quick and make it big. All right, so Prince plays surprise concert at First Avenue, again by John Bream, with an announcement on KMOJ radio as the only advance notice. Prince and his revamped Revolution set up at First Avenue Monday night and performed their first public concert in the Twin Cities in 14 months. That's a long time. Good evening, Prince said, standing behind a screen. We've only been rehearsing about a week, so we're a little rusty. Here it goes. He and the Revolution then performed a lengthy 24-song concert that was unquestionably one of the most fun and loosest performances he has given in the Twin Cities. The repertoire included most songs on his forthcoming album Parade, music from the film Under the Cherry Moon, tunes from his first and second albums, and selections he wrote that were recorded by his proteges Sheila E. and the family. In fact, he played something from all 8 of his albums except 1999. Which I thought was really interesting. We'll come back to that. Even though last spring Prince announced that he was retiring, do you guys remember when he was supposedly retiring from concert tours?
Yeah, he was going to look for the ladder.
Yes, yes.
Found it.
Yeah, I did. I'm glad he did find it. Last night's 2-hour-plus concert could be something of a preview of a forthcoming tour in much the same way his last unannounced First Avenue concert in August of 1984 previewed his last tour. Prince is considering concerts in Europe and Japan before performing in the U.S. to coincide with the release of his second feature film, UTCM, sometime in late June. If last night's performance is any clue, it would be a real change of pace from any previous Prince tours. He was happy and upbeat, and the sound was part psychedelic, a la last year's Around the World in a Day album, and in part funky, with the addition of a horn section, ace rhythm guitarist Miko Weaver, late of Sheila E's band and the family, and 3 bulky male dancers. I know John Bream knew who those. Okay, Prince has put together.
Don't go about it bulky. Come on, man. That's right. You might as well say husky. All right, go ahead.
Prince has put together a review that in time could rival James Brown's and George Clinton's for color, chaos, and coolness. With the exception of a couple of costume changes from magenta pajamas to paisley pants with matching top, it was the closest thing Prince has come to putting on a no frills, no props show. Prince decided on the concert about 11 a.m. yesterday. By 1:30 p.m., the First Avenue staff gave the go-ahead. People began congregating outside the nightclub at dinner time, and the block-long line wasn't allowed to trickle in until 9:30 p.m. So some folks stood out there for 8 hours, essentially. And Prince took the stage at 10:10. That's the reason why I said being a Prince fan was stressful.
Yeah, you need to commit. You need to commit.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I never went to Minneapolis. The highlight of the concert had to be Girls and Boys. I disagree, but we'll talk about that. A lengthy, dark, gospel-tinged funk song, which gave Prince room to stretch out on an electric organ, which was situated in the audience. I didn't get that. I was like, why is the organ in the audience on the side? Okay. New position, another new entry was given a spare funk treatment, and controversy and old favorites sounded funkier than ever thanks to Weaver's driving guitar rhythms. The work of saxophonist, flutist Eric Leeds and trumpeter Matt Bliston added crisp, funky accents as well as some nice subtle shadings on Under the Cherry Moon and other softer numbers. Dancers Jerome Benton, okay, there we go. Late of the time, Greg Brooks and Wally Safford seemed a bit awkward and unnecessary, but this was an ad hoc performance. Somehow one can't imagine Prince at an arena concert sitting in the audience and listening to his band play, as he did during Paisley Park, walking through the crowd as he did before Purple Rain, or lambasting one of the deserters from his ranks as he did to ex-Family singer Paul Peterson during Mutiny. So that was John Bream's review.
I was going to quickly. Oh, shoot. I forget. What did he say? What was one of the last things he said? I wanted to say, oh, the organ. I always thought that, maybe y'all could correct me, I always thought the organ was situated there during this tour because that's about where James Brown had his organ.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I remember seeing James Brown live. I got to see James Brown live 3 times, once in the 80s and twice in the 90s. And he always kept his, so if James is facing you, James's organ was always off to the side to the right. And in fact, when I saw I'd seen James Brown before the Sheridan Wyoming show. Mm-hmm. So when I saw Prince go to the organ and the Sheridan Wyoming, I immediately went like, oh, that's where James has and then later on. And so when we get back there, so that I don't know if that's why, but I just always thought it was there because that's kind of where James had his organ. So chat, anybody can let me know if that's what they thought. All right, that's it. I'll shut up.
What was the highlight song for you guys from that tour? For me, absolutely.
From the tour or from this show?
From the tour, or just on the list.
So from the tour, and my favorite actual show of the tour, and I said this was the Boston show. I love that Boston show. Is that run, DMSR, How Much Is That Dog in the Window? That kind of, because it's so tight.
Yeah.
And that's odd for me because I am always Prince on guitar. Like for me, so that's the only tour. So this tour is the only tour where Prince on guitar isn't my favorite moment, just because if he was going for that tight James Brown kind of quick, song after song after song thing, him and Wally and Jerome and Greg, that for me is, and the little dance they do, and when that moment for me is just, that's one of the most dynamite things I'd seen and heard. All right, that's it.
I love a good song block, and I love those little da 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 da. I love those little quotes because they always bring people back to something, like some memory or something like that. That's recognizable for everybody. But Mutiny is from that. I should say from that era,
right?
God, now I was gonna say Another Love, A Hole in Your Head, but now other people are saying 17 Days of Pop Life, and I'm like, and Mutiny, of course, I'm like,
right?
Maybe they're right. There's so much good stuff.
And don't forget that he blew the dust off of Soft and Wet.
Yeah.
And you just it's just and act like it's normal for him to just blow the dust off. Like, wasn't no fanfare, wasn't no, and you're like, hey, wait, that's Soft and Wet. That's the first thing we all. We the big ass afro, the 45. Come on, man, don't. And he just like breezed past it. Now, I you know what, bro, Ted.
Yes, sir.
You right, because now I got to come back, because I this all my bootlegs and even the Boston show. This is my Prop Duff moment, because I would play Head over and over and over, and what I would look for when I would get boots to these shows. The one with whatever the longest version of Head, like the one where they just drag Head out like the longest, right? So that's why I really love the Japanese show, the last one on that. Just anytime where they would drag Head out, so now I'm kind of like you. I like that little block I just said, but damn, you forget about. And then there's I think the Japanese show, and that's why I always love this picture. Because I'm almost for certain that this is from when he would play the little guitar riffs doing Head. I'm almost certain that this is that moment, this picture. So yeah, now I'm like you. Now I'm flip-flopping and going back and forth. I probably should have go ahead.
So Prince for you is it's Prince on guitar for you, eh?
Yes, it is always Prince on, because he usurped BB King for me. Before I saw Prince live.
Hey man, listen, I'm a bass player. Don't use words like usurp with me. Yeah. Don't use words that I got to look up in the dictionary.
Shut up, man. So it was until I saw Prince open for Rick James.
You saw that?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, my father snuck and took me to see Prince open for Rick James in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh my God! And
that was the moment when BB King, there you go, Karan, till you're burning up. Like just I just had it in my till you're burning up, and just the till the burning up part is so funky. Like that by itself is just so funky. But yeah, so when that's where BB King, that's what Prince was like, okay, because and to be quite honest, that was also, Brother Ted, the day I realized that all my favorite guitar players were my father's guitar players. Right? BB King, Buddy Guy, Jimi Hendrix, Ernie Isley. Come on, give me the name of the brother who played on Maggot Brain.
Blackbird.
Blackbird, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
But yeah, so all of those were the guys I loved. And it was then seeing Prince, I go like, oh, this is my guitar player. Yeah. This is the guitar player for so that's why it's always Prince on guitar for me, just because it was B.B. King, then him. All right, I'll shut up.
So for me, in terms of the actual First Avenue show that we're talking about, I was really blown away by how much I loved Under the Cherry Moon. And it's so counter to what I want from a concert, because as soon as he started playing it last night, I was like, why did he include this? But then I was like, oh, now I understand, because it's amazing. That's why he's including this, because I love the song, but just in context of the flow of a concert, you would think it would stop it dead. But what really surprised me last night was the transition from Girls and Boys into Life Can Be So Nice. Mm-hmm. And that Life Can Be So Nice was fire.
Yeah.
Well, because I, like on the record, sometimes I feel like it's too. Thank you, Man Ray. I said Eddie Hazel, but then
Eddie Hazel.
Yeah. And I don't know why I was blanking, because I was an Eddie Hazel stand for years. So thank y'all in the chat.
Yeah, I said Eddie Hazel, but then you guys said something else, and I was like, I guess I'm wrong, so I shut up. But yeah, Eddie Hazel. Okay. And I think, like, because it's so noisy, and what I mean by noisy is just a lot of instrumentation on the record of Life Can Be So Nice. It's like it's no space. It was something about the live performance of Life Can Be So Nice, which I think is incredible. One of my favorite moments from the First Avenue show is when he's at the sound booth and he takes, he puts on the headphones and things of that nature. I just think that's so hilarious. But
and it reminds you of all those times when we get the stories we got with Prince being in the club taking over the DJ booth.
Yeah. But another thing that really stood out, but to be honest, it stands out in any Revolution show for me, is Brown Mark's bass playing. Oh my God. He was
you knocked Ted off the screen. Look, you knocked Ted off the screen with that one. To corner Ali, rumble, young man, rumble.
Man, listen.
Now, Prince could talk about the other musicians may not have been on point, but Brown Mark was in the pocket. So,
at all times.
That's right.
At all times.
Yes.
I got to interview Brown Mark. I'm gonna tell you. I was sitting there during COVID, and I'm talking to Brown Mark, and I'm like, no, I'm not talking to Brown Mark. Without Brown Mark, there is no me.
Yeah.
Period.
That was a young man who could rumble.
Man, he could still rumble. That boy stank.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a bass player moment, man. That was a bass player moment. As soon as you brought him up.
Yes.
And shout out to Cluttered. I love that album. I love Cluttered much more than I loved his first album that came out. So I'm a big, if you guys haven't heard the Brown Mark Cluttered album, I love that album. Because it's a rock-based album for me. And I guess that's why I didn't like his first album, because it wasn't rock-based. But the Cluttered album, I really love that album. So shout out to Brown Mark for still doing his thing.
Yes.
And thank you, Tanja. I appreciate the shout out.
So I just want to let Reggie B know we're talking about the First Avenue show March 3rd. That's what we're talking about. So I'm going to read one more review from a different person. I didn't know that there was a Buzz magazine. I'm curious, does anyone know about Buzz magazine, like from Minneapolis? But this is written by Steve Perry, who wrote for City Pages. So at first I was like, is this City Pages? But no, it is Buzz. So let me read this review of the First Avenue show. I love the name of this article, Parade of Paisley Purple Prowess. Say that fast. A lot of times. Yes. And I love the caption of this photo, Prince and Company cut up at the expense of Morris. All right. And I love that everybody, because this is a Minneapolis newspaper, they don't have to put Morris Day. Like everybody knows what Morris they're talking about. So midway through an instrumental break in his surprise set at First Avenue last month, Prince paused to shout a question to the crowd. Whose house is this? He demanded. Prince's house, they shouted back. Whose house? Prince's house. For the first time since the heady days of Purple Rain, he left no room for doubt. His ebullient 3-hour set blew away the claustrophobic air that enveloped Around the World in a Day and the ill-boding rumors from the set of Under the Cherry Moon and reestablished him as a forceful rock presence, no small feat after the well-deserved backlash he faced in 1985. I don't think it was well-deserved, but we disagree. All this in a single performance. Yeah, Prince in the revamped 11-piece Revolution, 2 guitars, a bass, 2 keyboards, 3 percussionists, a drummer, and 2 horns, burned down the house with previews of material from the upcoming Parade and assorted selections from 6 of his other 7 albums. Only 1999 was left out. He opened the set by trading back and forth between songs from Around the World in a Day and Parade. How did you guys feel about that? The back and forth between Around the World in a Day and Parade tracks.
I liked it only because we didn't get a proper Around the World in a Day tour.
Yeah, I like the Around the World in a Day songs live, but I just like I even when I was watching it last night, I was like, why does he keep going back and forth between Parade and Around the World in a Day songs?
I think that it was because he knew he didn't tour that album properly, so he was gonna have to. Now maybe if you're saying that he should have just done them in block, I guess is what you're saying. Okay, do them in block. You know what? Until you just brought up the question, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah,
I never really gave it much thought.
Yes, I guess I didn't have a problem with it.
I tell you what, God, this is completely out of the era, so forgive me, but I went to see him at the Kodak Theater during Rainbow Children, and that was a strange. It was good, but to hear so few of the songs from the past was a trip. But I never gave that much thought, honestly.
Well, so that's where you and me differ, in that whenever Outkast did Coachella and Andre 3000 acted like he didn't want to be there, he got a call from Prince. And Prince told him that he needed to remind his audience, why he was there. Like he needed to give them what they wanted. And, obviously Prince is the consummate live performer, but I don't know. I always preferred the concerts where the majority of the songs were from the album. Right. And by the time we get to, I guess even even with like the new tour, and I love the new tour, but it started to become what I call the Al Green.
Yeah, the greatest hits tour.
Yeah, the greatest hits tour. I never liked that. And
not
so
the State Fair tour. Let's be fair. Wasn't the State Fair tour.
No,
there's a difference.
But the greatest hits tour, and I just never liked that. So I preferred when so for me, the Rainbow Children tour was amazing because the One Night Alone tour, because it was predominantly those songs, and that's the way I wish it was, for the majority of the tours. But that's just me. All right, let me read the rest of this. I'm almost done. Okay, so let me bring it back up real quick, and let's see. He opened, so I'm going to read it again, though. He opened the set by trading back and forth between songs from Around the World and Parade. Paisley Park showed off the new Revolutions range with Mark Brown's crunching bass line, providing the foundation for precisely the kind of funk psychedelia fusion that Around the World in a Day failed to put across on disc. I thought this was a really interesting comment. First of all, I love that Brown Mark is the first musician mentioned in this review other than Prince, because that's how good he is. I mean, like, he is on fire, but he's always on fire, but he's particularly on fire, but he's really on fire in this particular show. It sounded like a time, and I think the reason why he's really on fire, because everybody else isn't so in the pocket, but he's like the thing that's keeping it together. In my personal opinion, but okay. It sounded like a Tommy James. I don't know who Tommy James is. Does somebody know who Tommy James is?
Why does that name sound familiar?
It sounds familiar. I'm not really.
So they're saying it sounded like a Tommy James / Sly Stone face-off, in which both sides won.
Tommy James, singer-songwriter.
Yeah.
Who I know nothing about.
I don't. In fact, the songs for Parade were so powerful and complete that they made the Around the World in a Day songs seem like faltering experiments. I wholeheartedly disagree with that. Only the first one, Christopher Tracy's Parade, was tentative and uncomfortably Beatlesque. I also disagree with that. After that, the band settled into a hard funk rock groove and stayed there all night. New Position combined a bright, funky musical attack with husky gospel harmonizing. Life Can Be So Nice borrowed the beatific pose of Paisley Park, but drove it home more gracefully, where Park seemed vacuous and ingenuine. Life was untroubled and open, and live performance anyway. On the other hand, the Round the World a Day songs come off pretty well live, so don't bet the rent on Parade yet. The two hottest debuts of the night were Girls and Boys, a sexy lowrider that rumbled through First Avenue on, sorry, I gotta find my mouse, on a classic bass line. MVP honors for the show go to Bassist Brown. It's the second time this without any other musicians so far. Bassist Brown, hands down, yes, I agree. And Another Love Will Hold You in Your Head, which lives up to the Sly Stone conceit of his title, Remember, Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself Again. Another Lover may be Prince's most urgent funk to date, and like Sly's best songs, it combines the rhythmic intensity of funk with a melodic hook that burrows deep into your brain and echoes there all day. The band stretched out and jammed on several songs, sometimes to the limits of self-indulgence. I disagree. This was one groove that felt like it ended too soon. Other titles debuted were I Wonder You, Alexa de Paris, an instrumental featuring Wendy on lead guitar, Do You Lie, Under the Cherry Moon, turgid, melodramatic, and yet strangely appealing on the strength of its haunting melody. In other words, a lot like Condition of the Heart. I disagree. Mountains and Kiss. The ostensible reason for the gig was to celebrate the impending release of Parade and to test drive the new revolution. So this is the first of what a lot of people say called the counter-revolution, but more important, the performance seemed to reflect Prince's need to remake some critical connections with his audience and musical heritage. Maybe he finally sees that he has to stop being the whole thing all by himself and admit his debt to his own background, to other musicians, and to his fans. That's so silly because he's always given homage to other musicians. Okay, I'm sorry. Then again, maybe not. But in any event, he reached farther back into his musical repertoire than he ever has. Back to Soft and Wet, I Want to Be Your Lover, and Head, all of which appeared only in half ASSED medleys on the Purple Rain tour. Not only that, but he played them with affection and self-respect, qualities he's occasionally found hard to come by in the past. He tossed in a smoking 10-minute controversy, true that. Even America, a what? Okay, they say a SHITTY, a little song as you might ever hear in a studio version.
Wait, what?
Exactly.
Wait. Read that last part again, please.
So it says, even America, as I'll say itty, but it's SHITTY, little song as you might ever hear in a studio version. So basically, they're saying that the studio version sucks. Exploded into a long, ecstatic jam with echoes of 1999. The bombs go boom, boom, boom. Do you want to die? It was disquietingly unclear which answer he'd rather hear. But even that didn't seem to matter for us long as the music lasted. Anyway, Prince has never been big on paying homage to anyone else. That's a lie. In interviews, he's been known to claim that no one really influenced him. That was really early on. So it was a gratifying surprise when he emerged for his second encore in leather and shades to sing a rollicking Whole Lot of Shaking Going On, because at that moment he took a step toward relieving himself of the burden of pretending he is self-created and self-sustaining. If he keeps it up, that is, if he stops pretending to be the great Gatsby, he just might bridge the distance between the great artistry he's promised and the top-notch craftsmanship he's already delivered. The 6-song finale encore then proceeded through Another Lover, Mountains, A Love Bizarre, the best thing he touched in 85, and it didn't even come out under his name, America and Kiss. At the end of America, he tagged on a medley of snippets from other songs, including Holly Rock, James Brown's Living in America, Morris Day's Oak Tree and Color of Success, and Jesse Johnson's Free World. Many onlookers commented on Prince's jabs at the deserters from his camp, but aside from his angry swipes at Paul Peterson, the gestures seemed good-humored, even well-wishing. It was okay if everybody won, not just Prince. Now that's a switch. Music aside, what finally made the show an unqualified triumph was his openness towards the crowd and his band. Past Prince shows, even the best ones, often made you feel he was withholding something, but here he was right up front, grinning and shaking it without a bodyguard in sight. At one point, he marched through the crowd to adjust the levels on the mixing board. All in all, it was a far cry from the dour character who used to travel with thugs in town. Even when accepting awards, we're gonna, gargantuan record sales notwithstanding, it's been a tough road for the kids since Purple Rain came out. The subsequent tour and the justifiable bad publicity generated by his public behavior proved how ill-prepared he was to deal with the dynamics of arena shows and the expectations of a huge new crossover audience. Then the claustrophobic, self-referential tone of Around the Rolling Day made him seem even more disconnected from the world at large. Some of its weird passages made you wonder if he'd be coming back at all. On this Manic Monday, however, Prince put all that behind. Just before closing with Kiss, he paused to tell the hometown crowd how good it felt to connect with them again. No showbiz glad handling. It was hard for him to be so candid, and the difficulty showed in his face. In all seriousness, he said, sometimes I get real jittery when sometimes something feels as good. He paused and added, there's just a few more things I got to do. Then I'm going to blah, blah, blah. We read that before. The crowd erupted and he grinned broadly. His fantasies of community and domain rolled into one and preserved intact. For the moment, at least, all was well in Paisley Park. So, I think, for the most part, and so this is going to happen when we start reading these reviews. And I just want to remind everyone that, during this time, unlike a lot of criticism today, they could be to some people a bit harsh. But for me, this is actually a pretty good review of the show. There's a couple of caveats, to that, but how do you feel about this one, Celie? I'm curious.
It made me realize, going back, and all of us on the screen, all of us in chat, we grew up kind of reading these kind of reviews because that there was no internet and all of that. What I realized, and you can't help it. I know that and I did it very briefly, because I never liked turnaround deadlines. I want to be really clear. So I wrote like music reviews like this, concert reviews like very briefly. I just didn't like, you got a show, but instead of thinking about the show, you think about you got to write this damn review. So that just never sat well with me. But I never liked how much that I could tell the person who's putting themselves into the review. And I think that, but again, I don't know if you can't, it's going to always be subjective. But so for me, the whole well-deserved criticism and all of that, okay, so are we reading your thesis on something, or are you telling us about tonight? Because I whenever the review of the actual show, right, I'm reading it, you're telling me about what happened at this show. And so, but I'm getting all this other stuff, which means that, and maybe it can't help but color it. But what I'm hearing is a lot of what you just are feeling about Prince's career to this point is coloring what you're telling me about this show. Yeah. And maybe I am expecting a person to separate themselves too much. So again, and like you said, we've read reviews that have been far worse than this, right? Let's be clear. And there are going to be some reviews, for those of you who weren't there in real time, there are going to be some other reviews that are far worse than this. So all things considered, this is a, quote, good review. It just bothers me that this is a good review when there's so much what I think non-essential stuff. And I'll tell you what it reminds me. It reminds me of the paint by number reviews that we got of Prince from, say, 91 forward, that all of the reviews of Prince's albums will be the same. A paragraph of Prince's past albums in glory, a paragraph of how crazy Prince is, and a paragraph of how this album doesn't meet up to Prince. Like it became paint by number. It didn't matter who the journalist was. It was always those 3 paragraphs. And so that's the only thing I have with this one is tell me about this night. Tell me about the show. Don't color it with all that other stuff. I'll shut up.
How did you, Sheila, you've reviewed shows. How did you keep track of everything that's going on in real times and then, kind of store that in your mental to get home and get to work? How do you do that?
And this is why I didn't like doing it. I was a note taker. And I hated being a note taker at concerts. Like I don't go to concerts for that. So I think I did it 3 times total, and I just like, no, I ain't taking that. But because I felt I had a duty. Like if I'm gonna take this job and I'm gonna get the check, and I wanted the check, I felt I had a duty to tell people exactly what happened. And I'll tell you this just as an aside, I reviewed 3 music shows and 1 wrestling event, by the way. I actually did a report on, I got to find that wrestling. I always tell people, by the way, wrestling is what they do in college. Wrestling is what they do on TV on Saturday nights. I just want to make that. So I was a note taker, and I can be honest that probably being a note taker, it limited my complete enjoyment of the show.
I would have had to be like Rerun at the Doobie Brothers concert.
Right.
Which Doobie you be?
Oh my God.
And the young people in the room, I know you don't know what we talking about. You got to watch
the greatest 2-part What's Happening episodes ever.
Take it to the streets.
All right. So I think this is a really important comment from Chris Bernay. As a newspaper reporter, I've written bad reviews I regret. I realized later I was in a bad mood or something happened that caused me to inject my biases into the review. And so
that $20 soda will have you upset, huh, brother?
You change people's careers because you were in a bad mood.
Okay, so again, we're eventually going to get on the parade tour, and we're going to be reading a lot of reviews. One of the reasons why it's important to read these reviews is to understand that for Prince, it wasn't a flower bed of roses. Like, he was being criticized at the wazoo. So this is one of the reasons why I continue to read them, even though I know it upsets a lot of you in the chat. And it's not my intention to upset you, but it's just to let you know this is what Prince was dealing with in real time. And it's, it's like less than 2 years since Purple Rain. It hasn't been that long. So, as soon as, you get to the mountaintop, they're going to try to knock you off. So this is basically what's going on. Okay.
Before we go, I just want to say to Sister Tanja, it's been a quote a while back, around about 12:30. Sister Tanja, I hope you find that bootleg. She said she's still searching for the Bums Over Baghdad Prince after show cover from ATL, November 22nd, 2000. The reason I hope she finds it, because y'all know I'm the least hip-hop person on the planet, but the reason I hope Tanja finds it, because I know how much that'll mean to her, because I was almost in tears the first time I heard the bootleg of Prince covering BB King's Giving Me Some Outside Help. So Tanja, I get the connection. Your 2 favorite artists, Prince covering Outkast. So I hope you do find that cover, because for me, that was like one of the great music moments of my life, to hear Prince covering BB King. So I think that's important. I hope you do find it. All right, that's it.
All right. So some more photos from the First Avenue show. And I love the shot. I think it's stunning. And why did I put this in? I don't know. And I love this shot because this is a great shot, but it also reminds me of Controversy Prince. But I don't know if it's just because of the strap, but something about it. I was like, this is actually a pretty iconic pose for Prince. And I also love this one because I'm, enamored with this Wally coat. And so I love this one. And this one reminded me of Billy Idol. And I've never thought of Prince and Billy Idol in the same thought. So
in the midnight out, she cried more. Wait.
But it's because like a lot of Billy Idol shots are from this angle. And also, the little whatever curl and all of that. Okay. So I'm going to read our next. No, I've been reading a lot. Celie, do you mind reading Tuesday, March 4th, 1986?
Yeah, let me get my. I need to clean my what's called.
Come on, Sherlock.
I got too much luster curl juice. I got to. Tuesday, March 4th, 1986. Mazarati's self-titled debut album was released on Paisley Park Records. Although Prince worked on several other tracks, it was his song 100 Mile Per Hour, which was released as the third single from the album that got the most attention. Unfortunately, the album stalled at number 133 on Billboard pop charts and 49 on the black charts. Mazarati was Brown Mark's project, and he explains why he felt the album didn't connect. Quote, Paisley Park was a new label, and it just didn't have the staff. Prince has a terrible habit of running a one-man show, and it's very hard for him, which I understand totally. It was hard to delegate, and so it was back and forth thing with us, my management, and Warner Brothers trying to get things to happen. End quote. I have a question. And so Brother Ted and, Prof. Duff, you may know this, and anybody else in the chat, would it have been possible, or is it possible, if you are signed to a record label, to go out and just push your album yourself, just go out and do shows yourself? Or are you kind of tied to promoting the album when and only and how the record label tells you to do so?
I think, Celie, it's the latter.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
I mean, I'm fairly solid on that, but I think you do have to, once you're under contract, you kind of gotta roll with how they tell you to roll.
Okay. Because that's what I was thinking about. Just, I get it that, you're there, but I mean, it's like, and that's got to be like the worst feeling. I guess that's got to be the worst feeling that you're a musician, you play, you got this product,
yeah,
and you're just sitting around.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's just effing go play somewhere. Let's just effing go. And then again, I'm glad what Brother Brene puts in the budget, right? So you may want to travel around, but do you have the budget to go and travel around and drive around to do that? So that had to be frustrating,
man. I'm sure every musician, every musician, all of us knows, myself included, have been a part of some project that was, that had some potential that just never ever saw the light of day. It's disappointing, to say the very least. Hey guys, I love y'all so much.
But gotta go.
We know you got to go.
Look, long live Pretty Ricky. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for hanging out, bro.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. All right, y'all. Bye.
Love you, man.
All right. So I saw something. Oh, the point I wanted to make is, obviously the music industry today compared to the music industry in 1996 are two totally different things.
Right.
So that's the reason why I'm always trying to make sure that we put things in context.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would probably agree with Ted, but since I wasn't in the music industry, I don't know that for sure. All right. So not only was Mazarati, the album, released on Tuesday, March 4th, 1986, but then on Wednesday, the 12-inch version of Kiss with the B-side of Love or Money is released. And the single was released like 3 or 4 weeks ago when we talked about it.
Hey.
And
Mazarati can't catch a break. I mean, damn.
No, I think that was so wrong too. And they should have had their own week at least. And they're just like bringing up old stuff with Kiss. Oh, they could have catch a break.
And that gets to the Paisley Park being a one-man band, right? Because that's clearly not somebody not organizing stuff, right? There's clearly not somebody who's in charge of, like you say, hey, can we get us a week to breathe? Hey, can we, before you drop this 12-inch? So I think that's where you run into Prince doing everything, handling everything, and not getting the organization it is.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to do my reading about. Okay.
Thursday?
Yeah, but here's the deal. So I don't think I had time to do this. No. You can read it, but it really applies, at least the first paragraph, to actual Friday, March 7th. I think is an error in the book. And the reason being is because of a review that I read, and also because Prince Vault is sort of backs up my thoughts. So, but go ahead and read Thursday, March 6th.
Okay. Let me get my Thursday, March 6, 1986. Venue, Universal Amphitheater, Universal City, California. Capacity 6,187. Likely sold out. Sheila E. was on tour promoting her second album, and Prince joined her on stage at Universal Amphitheater to perform here. A cover of Janet Jackson's What Have You Done For Me Lately, Holly Rock Kiss, and a duet with Sheila on A Love Bazaar. After the show, Prince met up with former Miss America, Vanessa Williams, who was going to sign with Capitol Records to record an album to be produced by George Clinton. Alan Leeds recalls the conversations that inspired the meeting. George was looking for material and wanted to know if Prince would be interested in submitting some material to produce Vanessa Williams on. I went to Prince and he gave us a couple of unreleased Jill Jones songs, Eternity and Euphoria Highway. They were backstage, and I think that's when I gave them the tape. The long and short of it is she never signed with Capitol, but he never produced her, and the whole thing just kind of went away. And I will just say this as a footnote. People do not understand what is the triumph, the victory of Vanessa Williams' career.
Yeah.
To be a Black woman dragged and mistreated the way Vanessa Williams was. And I get it. It was 86. It was a simpler time. We were all shocked. But I'll never forget the television show Living Color. After Vanessa Williams had come through, remember she had the song Save the Best for Last. And when she got off, from them, so Living Color did a parody, and the name of the song for the Living Color was You All Can Kiss My Ass. And that was the best comeback because Vanessa Williams went from the lowest of low, being one of it had to be the most embarrassing and to be the first Black woman. To be the first Black woman to be Miss America, and then to have those pictures come out and all this stuff come out. And I'm like, you had to check her background before this. You had to kind of know some stuff and how sleazy it was. And then when you learn the back, and for her to have the musical and the acting career that she had, hats off and kudos to Vanessa Williams. And dang, I wish we could have got Vanessa Williams singing a couple of Prince songs. That's it. I'll shut up.
I know. I mean, it would have been really interesting to hear her sing Eternity or Euphoria Highway. And so I love that this was a possibility. It's one of those, I wish it could have happened because I would love to hear what she would have done with either of those. And yes, her daughter is also a really amazing musician named Lion Babe.
Oh, cool. Okay. I'll check that out.
Yep. All right. So there is a review that I want to read, a couple of reviews from the Sheila E show. So this is one from the newspaper article is from Saturday, March 8th, but this is about the Thursday show. So let me pull it up real quick. And let's see. I'm not going to read all of it. So it says Sheila E rescued by a charming prince. This is by Connie Johnson, and this is in the Los Angeles Times. Sheila E, who got her big break as the opening act for His Highness Prince, inadvertently ended up in that role again Thursday night at the Universal Amphitheater. Though she was the headliner, her often sluggish and self-indulgent performance didn't really give a near-capacity crowd much to shout about. While the singer-percussionist's two albums contain a fair share of party-inducing tunes, Mrs. E concentrated on her weakest material, from the neo-beatnik hipster groove of Yellow to a belabored acting out of Toy Box and Bedtime Story, complete with the star decked out in flannel jammies and cuddling a stuffed bunny. It's not that the evening lacked variety. Sheila E tried on more fur coats than Liberace, and did a drum solo so long that it would have even tired Gene Krupa. It's just that it was also flat. The show really began around 11 p.m. when Prince came on stage for an unannounced appearance with his new expanded Revolution band. He took command of Sheila's recent hit, La Bazaar, exciting the crowd with a series of electrifying dance steps in a warm manner. He shook hands with dozens of fans pressed against the stage. By the midpoint in the nearly 30-minute encore, Sheila E's band had been relegated to the wings as Prince and crew skipped through his America and his latest James Brown flavored single, Kiss. Even the folks singing Dozing earlier picked up for the night's true star. Local band, and I'll end there. So in reading Duane's entry, and then in this article reading about America, I was like, oh, something's wrong, because I think, Duane would have included it because America is such a important song. And if you go to Prince Vault, you'll see that for March 6th, they have a La Bazaar, America, and Kiss, and not what Duane has laid out in the book. But if you go to Thursday, is what Duane has laid out in the book. So I really do think that these songs that in the book for March 6th are really for March 7th, and that the March 6th, because Prince Vault and this review sort of align. So that's one thing. All right, I want to show this amazing photo.
So one quick thing.
Yeah.
That then is the second review. Because I remember in real time as a kid, and I don't know if it was Black Beat or Right On, reading a review that was similar to that about the crowd not being as enthusiastic to Sheila's portion, and then I was wondering, was that so? It's got to be the second one, because in the one I remember the guy or whoever wrote it said that Sheila said to the crowd, "Hey, I make too much money for this." And I just remember as a kid thinking that was an odd kind of. I was kind of put off by that, but it didn't make me dislike her. I was just kind of like, wow, hey, do better. Don't yell at the crowd. But so again, when you talk about these in real times and not everything being a bed of roses, that not all the reviews were good. It wasn't always, and that as Prince fans, right, seeing these things in real time, that it was just really interesting at that time, watching kind of the winds of change kind of blow through and seeing them not being the thing of the moment anymore, and just kind of watching that in real time. That's it.
So I actually have that review, and I was going to read that part.
So good, because thank you, because for years I've been saying it, and I've been trying to tell people I'm not crazy. That review actually exists. Thank you.
It exists, but I still can't figure out where it's from. Like I actually have the actual a scan of it, but I've been trying to track down like what, because it's the same writer. But before we go to that, let me show one of my favorite photos, and I'm assuming this is from Thursday, and it's definitely not from Saturday, because he has on the fuchsia outfit, because he has on like this, like, I don't know what you call that, dots or something. But anyway, I love this photo, so I just had to share this photo because it's a great Prince. And all right, and then this is a ticket from the March 6th show where the Untouchables are opening up for Sheila. And that's the, I had this wrong. It should say Universal Amphitheater. Sorry about that. Okay, this is the one, Seeley.
Yep, that's it. I remember that picture.
Yeah, so this is Connie Johnson. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because we're already over time. But I am going to read what Seeley just said. So, and towards the end of the article, it says, speaking of dead weight, Sheila E's show was an exercise in performing the role material, while party-inducing songs like the hyped-up Romance 1600 and the Belle of St. Mark were absent from her set. Her section of the show was burdened with too many poorly chosen songs. She must have known the show wasn't working, as she warned the clearly underwhelmed crowd, Hey, I'm going home. I make too much money for this. Prince's performance proved the problem wasn't the audience. He had no trouble getting the house on its feet, and those supposedly retired from the concert trail lent credence to the rumors that it won't be long before he's on the road again. So that is.
Thank you for that. I'm not now I know I'm not crazy. My childhood was not a myth.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love this from Chris Bornay. Why didn't Mazarati open for Sheila? That would have been incredible.
That would have been perfect.
It would have been perfect. Okay, we just got one more reading, and then we got to do the salon stuff with the quickness. Okay.
Because Kim is having her wrist.
It's that.
There you go.
Okay, Saturday, March 8th, 1986, venue Warfield Theater, San Francisco, California. Capacity 2,185, sold out. Prince and Revolution joined Sheila E. on stage during the first of 2 sold-out shows at the Warfield Theater in San Francisco, performing on a Love Bazaar with included parts of All Day, All Night, the Wooden Leg Dance, mocking Morris Day's Oak Tree, the St. Paul Punk of the Month chant from Dream Factory, and Kiss. The show was videotaped, and his duet with Sheila on a Love Bazaar would be edited down and released on her home. Edited down, but also overdubbed, because if you've listened to the actual show, it sounds completely different from what's on Romance 1600. So the show is videotaped, and his duet would be edited down and released on her home video, Romance 1600 Live, on VHS originally. Actually, only because I've been waiting for it to come out on DVD for years. And then I was like, now we're past DVD, maybe Blu-ray. And now I'm like, I want a digital download because it's Prince. Okay, we're going to get into that. The show was directed by Daniel Kleinman, who would also direct the upcoming concert in Detroit, the birthday show, and oversee the principal photography for a little ditty called Sign the Times Live in 1987. So Daniel Kleinman is an amazing director, cinematographer. We got to give a shout out to Daniel Kleinman. The following day, members of the band traveled back to Minneapolis, likely for additional rehearsals, and Prince flew to Los Angeles to record new music and continue overseeing the editing of Under the Cherry Moon. Now, what I'm not going to do is rush, and I cannot stress, if you've never seen this performance, it's in the accompanying playlist, it's at the bottom of my YouTube channel. Or if you do your Googles and Google like Love Bazaar, Prince, and Sheila E. at the Warfield Theater, you have not lived until you've seen this performance. Mm-hmm. It is, and I personally think that this was the best wooden leg performance, and also the Punk of the Month. Yep. I don't know, it's something about this particular performance of A Love Bazaar, and also Prince and Sheila together, like their chemistry, like they're always amazing together, much better together than separate when it comes to their songs. Yep. So it's just something you got to see. It's the gift that keeps on giving. And, like Celie said, I could literally, if I could only have one clip of Prince for the rest of my life, this would definitely be in the top 3 of the ones that I would choose from. It's really, really incredible. And it's also something about how joyful Prince is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. And it's just like some of the moves and like I feel like everybody feels that electricity on stage. Because even Wendy, it's just like everybody's in the flow at that moment. So it's one of my favorite all-time performances.
So to echo what you said, when the VHS came out and the VHS store, remember we used to have them, was around the corner from me, I rented that tape every week for a year. And dude finally gave it to me. That's how I ended up with my copy of it. Dude just gave it to me because I rented it every week for a year. I was good about bringing stuff back and I always bring it back on time. And he would even joke after about 6 months. He's like, I mean, don't nobody want it but you. So to your point, when you said that was my number one emotion was joy. Because I'm not gonna lie, I was so bummed out that Prince didn't sing with her on Erotic City. That I'm not saying it's not a good show. It just messed up the show for me, right? So I never watched that. From that time, I go, oh, Prince is not coming out for Erotic City. I would always just fast forward to when Prince comes on, and the fact that I didn't crack that tape. And do you remember when VHS was at its highest? They had these automatic rewinders. You could put your VHS in the little thing, you would snap it down, and I had one. An automatic reminder looked like a little red Corvette. It was like a toy Corvette. You could put the tape in and put the hood down. So to your point, I watched that performance every week, almost every Saturday, because I would go rent it on Friday. So either Friday or Saturday, and I would take it back Monday for a year. And the dude gave me the tape. I'm like, it was just sheer joy. And like you said, seeing Prince in the way we hadn't seen him. You know, like you said, that wasn't the Dirty Mind Prince, the Controversy Prince, wasn't the Purple Rain Prince. So he was so different. He was so lively. The fact when he's leaning up against when he leans up against the speakers and sticks his tongue out, you're just like, oh, that's 12-year-old, that's Skipper, that's 12-year-old. So yeah, it was just and like you say, all of that, and it's just a damn great musical performance.
Oh my God.
Like everybody, they are a well-oiled machine at this point. So yeah, all of that.
Yes. And I love this comment from JD that says, since you always had it rented out, did other customers even know it existed?
You're right, brother JD. They might not have known it was in there.
Yes.
So Kim had one of them car-shaped recorders too. She remember them car-shaped rewinders.
And yes, Christina says, be kind and rewind.
Be kind and rewind. You know, the fee, you had to pay a fee if it wasn't rewind.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, we didn't have Blockbuster, so I had to just save my lunch money and buy the VHS. I still have the VHS, actually.
And let's not forget, people forget, it was almost it would be almost like a full year after the thing before it would come out on VHS.
Yeah.
Like today, something go to the movies, you get the stream and you get the digital maybe a month later. But back then in the 80s, that's why when people look at me about I saw Sign of the Times 60 times in 30 days, because I knew it was gonna be a year. And we weren't even guaranteed that we was gonna get the Sign of the Times VHS. So I was trying to put this in and soak this in, because even if it was gonna be a VHS, it was gonna be a full year. And I think people forget that how long we used to have to wait for the VHS to come out.
I didn't. It was a long time. It really was. All right. So I have one photo from this night, Saturday, Warfield show. I love this. Any shot from this performance is incredible. But yeah, just if you haven't seen it, watch it. As soon as we get off, you'll thank me later. All right. So just really quickly, I forgot to mention, thank you, Andre, for mentioning at the beginning of the show today that I was interviewed by Wendell's podcast. I love Wendell's podcast. And it's a 2-part interview. So I want to give thanks to Wendell's podcast for inviting me on. It was amazing to be in the non-producer, non-doing. I just sat there and talked. I didn't have to push any buttons or anything, so it was actually quite nice. And then
whoa, let me say this.
Sure.
And you guys should see that interview for 2 reasons. It's probably one of the best balances of technical print stuff and just learning what kind of cool person Prof Duff is. So that's what I really like about it is we get to see Lil D'Angela and her falling in love with Prince, and her then going from Lil D'Angela falling in love with Prince to becoming this very noted and important Prince scholar and content creator. So that's the really cool thing about that 2-part interview. And it really, the time flies by. Because if you remember, you said the one of my songs, I was waiting to go pick Monica up at the airport, and it was perfect for me. So I got it in, listened to it, and then by the time it was finished, Monica's plane was landing. So it's a quick, it's 2 hours, but I promise y'all, it doesn't feel like 2 hours. That's it.
Thank you, Celie. That's very kind. All right. And then I want to show you that I got a very special delivery from the UK, hand delivered to the US. So I am thrilled that I have my 7 inches and the 2 magazines that are released overseas that you can't order if you're in the US. So this is one of them, and it has the 7-inch. And then the other one, which is my favorite, is the Rolling Stone. Hold on, I'm gonna go full screen real quick. The Rolling Stone 7-inch, and I love this photo. I have it earmarked here, so you can see it too. It's such a cool photo of Prince, and then they have another really cool photo with Third Eye Girl here. So really cool. So thank you, my friend, for getting it to me, because I was getting really out of sorts because I was like, I can't order this thing. So
which the 7-inch, which songs are on the 7-inch?
You know, I don't know. Let's see if they say it on, because I haven't pulled them off. Oh, here we go. So on, and this is where you can actually get them, musicexpress.de/Prince-2026-bundle if you're not in the US. So the Rolling Stone has Fall in Love Tonight and Hard Rock Lover. And then the other one, which is, I think, Music Express, is Baltimore and Stare.
Oh, so hey, 4 really good songs.
Yeah. And Baby Love, in terms of the Windows podcast, it's like Apple Podcasts. If you just Google Windows Podcast and my name, which is DE space Angela, no apostrophe to be found, that would be great. All right. I think this is really cool that Ruth is going to be doing Facebook Live on March 21st at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. Pacific, in order to benefit Addie Durant, who we've been talking about, Addie's GoFundMe. And for those of you who don't know, Ruth worked with Prince and during the 3121 era and other eras as well. And it's obviously the 20th anniversary of 3121. So I think this is a do not miss event. And I do hope that you will contribute to Addie Durant's GoFundMe, as I've been asking you to, if you can afford to do so. And if you can't, just send her a kind word. Again, she was really pivotal to audience version of Purple Rain, audio version of Purple Rain Live at Clubhouse. And then I want to remind you of the Dance on Prince conference. If you're going to Celebration, that's going to be at the University of Minnesota. I don't have anything to do with this. I'm just promoting it because a lot of people that are amazing are in charge of this. Dr. Kirsty Fairclough being one of them, Cassie Ritchie being another, and there are several other people affiliated with this, like Professor Crystal Wise, also of University of Minnesota. So the International Center for Prince Studies is having a Prince conference from June 1st and 2nd. I really hate that I can't attend because I have to do my own conference for NYU about not Prince, but generative AI, unfortunately. And I want to remind everyone that I don't know if Theo is still here. So are the early bird tickets not available anymore? Because I saw Theo put that they weren't available anymore, but I would assume they're still available, but maybe they are not. Can someone let me know if the early bird tickets are still available or have they shut it down? And yes, it's been 20 years since 3121. And I definitely don't want to say that name, but yes, Play Black Sweat. Such a great song for sure. I think she had like a fall and like she's having mobility issues. Like she's not able to get around well. So it's sold out. Even the general is sold out. I know the VIPs were sold out, but are the general admissions also sold out at this point? Yep. I knew about the VIP, but what about general admission? All right. And I want to remind everyone, and I'll turn off the comments just so you can see this stuff. We're going to have our hybrid symposium that is fast approaching. April 17th through 19th. Friday will be all virtual. Saturday and Sunday will be in person in Brooklyn, but there will be a live stream. And to learn more, you can go to iwonderyou.polissolid.com. The symposium website is up top to the right. Underneath it is where you can pre-register and get announcements, which I should be sending out this weekend. It's been really crazy at work, so I'm trying to transition. Had a major event for work yesterday, so I think I can finally transition to promoting this better for iwonderyou40.substack.com for pre-registration and announcements. And remember, if you're coming to NYC or you live in NYC, Friday is the place to be. At doors open at 8:30 and the show is at 9. Cutting Room Law is going to be really, really amazing. Oh, Tanja, it would be so amazing to see you here. I hope you can make it.
Amen.
Yes. All right. So, okay. That's what I thought. So Christina says that the early bird general admission is still available. Okay. All right.
But it is cool that they're selling out. That means that they got the interest.
Well, but we don't know how many were sold.
Right.
I'm all about data. I want to know the numbers. You know, the same way, I keep saying this because I still don't know the numbers. Like, how many of these super deluxe box sets have sold?
Right.
I want the numbers. And the reason why I want the numbers is I want to know how many Prince fans are in that money bracket to, you know, I mean, because they say that, you know, they don't make any, well, I don't know, not necessarily a state, but just fans in general say that they don't make money off these box sets, but so many other estates have similar box sets, in some cases even more, and they're continuing to do, you know, so I just want data, you know, to see if that's true or not. Yeah. So, and so Carol says yes. And if you've gone, can someone give me the number? Because I can't remember. If you've gone like 3 times since Prince passed, you can get the 20% discount. Can someone correct me? Because I haven't really been on top of that. All right. And then what else we got here? Okay. So we're nearing to the end, Kim. So you don't have to, I'm doing okay. So we want to make sure that we send love. And if we can buy art from Troy, anything that we can do to help Troy with his, unfortunately, cancer battle that's come back. I really, really hate this for Troy. So please send him a kind word. Please buy some art. Please contribute to his GoFundMe, whatever you can do to help him get through this particular cancer battle. And Dr. Funkenberry has been going through his cancer battle for a while now. So again, send him a kind word, contribute to his GoFundMe if you're able to. I'm sure he needs, you know, lots of love and encouragement because he's been really going through this for quite a while now. And Desiree also has a GoFundMe. And so I want to remind everyone that if you go to my YouTube channel, go all the way to the bottom, the Love Bazaar video is number 1. It's the first thing. It's first thing smoking. It's only 11 minutes. Trust me, those 11 minutes will be the best 11 minutes you've ever had. It's so amazing. I can't stress that enough. All right. So Carol says 3 to 5 times. Yeah. And Karan says attended 3 to 6 years, you get 20%. And if you've gone all 7 years, you get 50%. So that's cool. I had just missed. I didn't go last year because of my dental. So I had I have 6 years instead of 7 because of my dental woes.
You should take your dental x-rays up and say, hey man, this account for something.
Yeah, I should. But don't forget about our Ricky Wyatt playlist in case you miss Ricky's voice like I do. So there's so many videos of him, and if you ever think of him and want to see him because I miss him so. And you can also donate to the Crons and Kaleidos Foundation in memory of Ricky. And I created the Flesh bit.ly link because he loved the Flesh sessions and he passed around that time. So we are at the end of our time together. And since Michael Dean is not with us, I'm going to have Sheila E take us out.
So, of course, we want to thank Brother Ted. Brother Ted, we love you. Thank you for showing up. We want to say love you to Brother Dean for always being here and being the first person and only person when Prof. Duff said she was going on this magical ride. I want y'all all to know we all ghosted Prof. Bruh. We all ghosted her. We all acted like, email? What email? I didn't get no email. And Brother Dean was the only fool. Brother Dean was the only fool. I mean, fan. No, but seriously, Brother Dean stepped up to the plate. And so we want to give him, much props and love. And to all of you guys, as Brother Turnbull says, the chat, this is nothing. The chat, if it's not for the chat, not for y'all. And also, we got to give, Brother Tudahl for writing these two and doing the work. And I'm going to end like I always end. Tell the person you love that you love them and hug the person that you love. Tell the person that you love them and hug the people that you love. As Prince said, we ain't got much time. So since we ain't got much time, let's make the best of what we have by loving and hugging as many people. Thank you, Prof. Duff, for creating this space. And we'll see everybody back here next week. Y'all take care.
Peace.